Superficial, vacant eyes on the living, socialize. I see potential in your mind. Touch me softly, it's not a crime. No more apologies. You'll find inside of me a deeper love, a deeper faith, a deeper love to restore the balance of your ways, a deeper dive to sink or swim in a world of she said, don't give a fuck about him, a deeper love. I'll get another surface with you. I'll get another surface with you. Step into it, the golden light. Take my hand and roll the dice. It's not a secret, don't need to testify. Like gravity, can't be defied. No more apologies. You'll find inside of me a deeper love, a deeper faith, a deeper love to restore the balance of your ways, a deeper dive to sink or swim in a world of she said, don't give a fuck about him, a deeper love. I'll get another surface with you. I'll get another surface with you. A deeper love. Deeper love, a deeper faith, a deeper love to restore the balance of your ways, a deeper dive to sink or swim in a world of she said, don't give a fuck about him, a deeper love. I'll get another surface with you. I'll get another surface with you.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
You got mail. You got mail.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Now, you do realize that Slick is on the board, and payback. He's gonna get me back for what I did to him during Slick Speaks.
Oh.
Because last night, Slick hasn't done a board in a while. He gave me instructions, he gave Dawn instructions.
They were different.
And they were different, so I didn't know what to do, so I just threw the gamut.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through his whole show in about 10 minutes. And meanwhile, he was talking, he said, and this is going to be continued, because I did this for me too. So he talked about one thing, and they talked about another thing, then went back to talk about something else, because she had me nuts, and he had me nuts. So what you're listening to now is payback, because of what what happened yesterday. But you know what? No harm, no foul.
No
as they
harm,
say.
no foul, as they say. We actually have to get Wayne in here on a Monday or a Wednesday also, because we now have a new brunch show on the radio. So we got to get you in on some radio time. We've got our good friend Wayne Henry back because, you know, our weeks have not been complete without having you on set. So we got to catch up on that. We missed you a lot. Well, I did anyway. Did you miss him? Did you miss him?
No.
I did.
What'd you miss?
Wayne.
Wayne what?
It wasn't the same. His seat was empty. The vibration, the energy of the studio was not the same.
Everybody writes to me and says, "Where's Wayne?"
Where's Wayne? Where's Amy? Where's Steve? You know,
There's a lot of wheres.
this whole situation we've got going on, there's a lot of wheres that we are missing and a lot of people that we care very much about. I care much about in the studio.
You care. How can we make everything about the you?
Because I don't know how you feel, so I can't talk about if you miss people.
I thought that Wayne would eventually. I thought that you was trapped.
Yeah, he didn't think you were back.
I didn't think you were coming back.
Well, touch wood, we stayed well. Managed to avoid anything. So my wife and I, we went to England to visit her family for the holidays and traveled all over. But it was kind of harrowing. We landed in London just as the new strain took hold there, and it was very spooky walking around London and with almost nobody around. It was I've never seen it before.
Now you were in London or you were outside of London?
So we traveled around. So we were there for 3 weeks in total. So we spent a week in London. Just want to make sure that, because we were meeting her family, we hadn't seen her family in about 4 years. So her mom lives up in Cambridge, England. So before we went up to see her for Christmas, we were down in London for a week, and we were able to see a few shows and do a few things. We avoided public transport mainly, did taxis and walking, because it was, you didn't want to get in a London tube with the coronavirus.
Well, how far can you walk?
Well, we walked quite far.
You must have without getting in the tube.
But wait
right?
a minute.
We did, or got in taxis.
So you don't go in the tube. The tube is what separates you and France, correct?
Yeah,
It's like the subway.
the tube is the subway, but you don't call it the subway in
It's
London.
a
That's a dirty
tube.
word. It's
So
a
you didn't
tube
wanna
because
take
it's
public
round. It
transport.
is unique that it's actually looks like a tube because it's round.
So you didn't want to take public transportation.
Well, we took the tube a couple of times, and we just felt a little bit nervous because it's a lot of people crammed in a small space. Even though it was a lot less people than normal, and there was a mask mandate on, but still a lot of
People didn't wear them.
There were some people that weren't wearing masks. So even though it was required, and they kept saying on the on this announcement saying masks are required, you'll be fined if you're not wearing a mask, but there wasn't anybody actually enforcing it. So
why didn't you take a cab?
wherever we were going. So we went like the Tate Museum, saw the art. We went to Royal Albert Hall. We saw a show there. We saw a Wicked musical. Carrie booked all this stuff well before any of this stuff was taking off. So it was kind of, we weren't sure even if some of the performances were going to go ahead, but they did. They were just requiring, you had to show proof of your vaccination to be let in. You had to wear a mask for the whole performance. So, we were hoping it was going to be safe, so there was, they were taking precautions there. So yeah, we take taxis or walk where we could to try to avoid the tube. We were on a couple buses and just try to avoid crowded places. A couple times,
Well, why didn't you rent a car? Or there's no
Well,
car
we
rent?
did, but you don't want to drive a car in London.
It's like New York City.
Yeah, and there's congestion charge, and there's nowhere to park.
It's
and
a congestion charge?
Yes.
So if
So
there's
it actually,
too many cars,
if you're
you
gonna
get charged?
you're gonna drive into London. There's a fee you gotta pay. It's like a toll just to enter the city.
You got to be kidding me.
No.
So,
so-
if the Yankees played or the Mets played in London, or a soccer game in Wembley, isn't Wembley in London?
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
Wimbledon is in Wimbledon. Yeah. Or Wembley Stadium.
Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
Isn't that in London?
England.
Yeah, but you just take the train or the tube usually.
Right,
so even,
but if
even
you're
from the
driving,
airport.
you have to pay a tax to go see, because you know it's
Yes.
going to be really.
Yeah. So there's an
They're
area.
smart over there in
If
England.
you're driving into the city, it just says congestion charge. Here's the address. You just have to go online and pay your fee. Otherwise,
Wow.
there's a huge fine.
You have to go.
So it's like the
online.
honor system?
Yeah. No, they take a picture of your license plate.
Oh.
If you don't pay it by a certain date, you get a big
That's
fine.
like pay by plate.
Yeah, but they
Yeah,
should
yeah.
send you a situation.
No, they send you a bill. Like they do pay by plate. I just got one.
Did you?
Yeah, when the hell did we go? Oh, I know when. We went to the Parker Playhouse.
I drove.
So how did I get a bill?
I don't know. I don't know. I drove.
I got a bill.
Oh,
I
and we
gotta
had
pay.
to. So we did rent a car when we were leaving London. So we were in London for a week, and then we rented a car for the, following 2 weeks, and we traveled all over.
Where'd
outside
you go?
London.
You went to London, you went to Cambridge.
So we went to Cambridge, and then we went to the north coast. So we visited our old house up in Norwich, which is a very historic city, and then went up to the north coast in that area, stayed in a little cottage, and then we went all the way down to Bournemouth, which is south coast, and visited some friends. Her dad lives there, saw him. Rejiggled the schedule because someone he was with on Christmas Day tested positive for coronavirus. So we're like, ugh. Okay, let's wait a few days, take negative tests. But he was clear, so we saw him briefly. And then her brother lives up near Heathrow Airport, so we stayed with him for New Year's, saw him, and her mom came down from Cambridge, so we were together for New Year's Eve for a couple of days.
What was it like spending 3 weeks with family?
It was really nice.
Good.
Like we visited our house up in Norwich. I hadn't been there in over 10 years. So it's, and I'd forgotten, I hadn't realized how much I'd forgotten. Just it's a much bigger city than I had remembered. But it was really nice to see family. We do video conferencing or video like Skype calls, basically almost every week and things like that. But it was nice to see people in person.
What'd you do for Christmas?
So with Carrie's mom up in Cambridge, so we had traditional British Christmas, which is very different than in America. You got your Christmas cracker, you pop those open, you have your little silly paper hat and joke, and we had roast dinner, and we had Christmas pudding for dessert, which is kind of like a steamed dessert, traditional steamed dessert. We put brandy on it and light it on fire. Mince pies, mulled wine, a lot of alcohol in the Christmas season.
You know that
A lot
goes.
of mulled wine and mince pies. I got my fill of fish and chips, that's for sure, on the trip. But yeah, British do good at Christmas time. All
They eat well.
the treats and treats, chocolates.
Fish and chips is not a meal.
What?
Of course
Here, we
it
got to
is.
talk about this. You'll tell me to eat a meal.
Of course
What
it
do you
is.
consider a meal?
Well, I hung out with Wayne one time at the Alpha Dodger, and he had fish and chips.
That's not a meal?
So I saw when it came, it was a nice meal. It was a nice food, but to me, that's not a meal.
What's a meal to you?
Rice and beans with some greens and a meat.
You don't eat anything green.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I salad. Well, last night I had broccoli. Hello to you.
Hello, green.
Corn, things like that. I think like the Pilgrims. I sort of put all that together. But the fish and chips, you like? You don't even like it anymore.
I do. I'm gonna need a few months before I need to
some
have
more.
it.
You've had a lot of fish and chips, right?
Yeah. Well.
Now
at
that's
least-
well
at least
known
4
in
times.
in England, fish and chips.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
Like a steak.
hamburger in America. It's kind of like you're out, especially seaside. It's kind of like you gotta have fish and chips. So and it's nice. You go to a nice place. You can have it. Go to a nice restaurant and have it's nice.
How is
fresh
the food
fish.
there? Is it better than here?
The food, I think British food has a bad bad reputation, but it's very dated. So that reputation is dated. The food is gorgeous in most places. Very, very, very tasty.
Why does the food have a bad rap?
If you couldn't cook them.
Because I think a lot of people think, oh, British food is like boiled vegetables and
Well, that's the
something with
Scots,
no
no? That's
taste.
the-
So
That's the
I
Irish.
think 30, 40 years ago might have been the case where gourmet chefs and things is the norm. Even pubs have nice food. We ended up in this this little village out in the middle of nowhere that we knew we visited before. I don't know how long ago, but very quintessential British. Very historic. All the houses are hundreds of years old, which isn't unique in England. But you know, this gorgeous little pub. Went there, and we knew they served food. Fully booked, but no one showed up. So we're like, you know, can we have a meal? It's like, take your pick.
Wow.
The dining room's empty. Everyone's canceled.
What do you mean nobody showed up? Everybody
'Cause of
canceled?
COVID.
So they canceled?
They just didn't show up. So they're like, it was all set up for, you know, full reservations. We were the only ones in the place.
What did you have that day?
What did I have? I had cottage pie.
The hell is that?
So it's like a, it has, so I actually had beef. I don't usually eat meat, but I did that day. So it's like ground meat with vegetables and mashed potatoes on top, baked in the oven.
Like a shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
You would like it.
Shepherd's pie has lamb. Cottage pie has beef.
I
Otherwise,
didn't realize
it's identical.
When
You
I
would
went,
like that.
When I went to London, I stayed at the Four Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid somebody to show me all the traditions. Like you have that tea in the afternoon,
Oh yeah, we did that. Fortnum Mason, that's for sure. High tea.
high tea.
Yeah. All
So
those
she brought me a
sandwiches.
bucket of tea. I said, "What do you want me to do with this?" She said, "You got to drink it." It was big, a big bucket.
Bucket, a teapot, no?
And like, no,
A
it was-
bucket of
it-
teapot.
It was huge. No, it was bigger than any teapot I've ever
Yeah,
seen. And then they give you those little sandwiches that they cut
Crumpets?
off all the corners. I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
finger sandwiches.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
crumpet
Finger
thing.
sandwiches,
Make
scones.
cucumber.
Yeah.
Cucumber. I don't need that. So I said to her, first of all, where's the rest of the bread? Let's start there. Because they make them this
Yeah, it's very dainty.
and they put very dainty, and you gotta raise your
So
finger.
it's like white bread,
But
mayonnaise,
it's like
and
it's all you can eat.
cucumber.
They bring it out. They
Cucumber.
bring it out in trays. You've got your little finger sandwiches, variety of finger sandwiches. You got your scones with, you know, clotted cream and jam, and then you got your
Yes.
little cakes and things. But it's basically all you can eat. Bottomless pots of tea.
And it was black tea, which I liked.
Yeah, I mean,
think it
where
was
you
called
go,
Black.
like we went to Fortnum Mason's, kind of a historic department store in London. They're famous for their food, and we went there. They brought out the tea menu. It's this thick, so it's just like, you know.
It's a book of teas.
Yeah, so it's like, what tea do you want? It's a pot for you, pot for me. Next, do you
And
want
they
the
give you
same? You
these
want another one?
pots.
We were there for 3 hours,
Picking
gorging on
teas.
It's
sandwiches
the
and
greatest
scones
thing
and
I've ever
everything.
seen. So then she finished work, and she takes me to a pub. Now in London, they got a pub on every corner, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they got soccer going on.
Some do, yeah. Sports.
Well,
sports
I
pub,
went on
yeah.
a Sunday. She took me on a Sunday. The Saturday was easier, but it was a Sunday. It was like the football. There was 5,000 people in this corner, and there was what do you call the Gabby? The cops,
The bobbies.
the bobbies, made a circle in the middle of the 4 points to make sure nobody fought, because they fight with one another over the stupid game, right?
Yeah.
So I go there on a Saturday, and I walk into a pub, what you call a pub, I call a bar, and they knew I was American right away.
Really?
Right away.
What a surprise that is, right?
So I asked for a pint. And I said, give me your best pint. That's when they all started to laugh. So they started buying me beers, right?
Yeah.
And it's that dark beer. And it's
Oh.
warm.
Guinness.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, you pull a plant like that.
But
yeah.
it's warm.
Yeah.
What the hell? They heating
bitter.
up the beer.
So you know, you guys
Bitter
travel.
ale.
You travel. You travel. I'm envisioning Epcot because I don't travel. So
been there too, but
I'm
I
going
like
through the American Pavilion, and in my mind, I'm walking over through France,
You would
England,
Actually,
and the
I've had
pubs.
fish and chips at Epcot. It's pretty good.
That's interesting.
I'm
You-
thinking of the restaurants where
you
Mickey
would-
is that are empty you can walk
You
into.
would never
and there's
get
a-
out of a pub. They would buy you cars in London. You would never get out.
I've been to the British pub in London.
I didn't see one woman in the pub. I only saw men.
Well, if it's a football game going, then
That's
yeah.
probably what it was. Then I got challenged to play chess. Now, mind you, I had
Chess?
chess. I had
darts. They do a lot of darts,
and chess,
yeah.
but the dartboard was full. So I saw the chessboard, and he saw me looking at it, and they challenged me to play chess. Now you gotta understand, when you're drinking pints, they're this big, though, and it was flowing. I had the advantage because I wasn't drinking like they do. These guys, they take it, they go like this, gone. I mean, they drink it like it's water.
Gone.
So I
Yeah.
won. Big mistake.
You won. What'd you win? How much to
more
drink?
beer. They had to carry me back to the Four Seasons.
Oh my
I
God.
hadn't drank that
Yeah.
much pint beer in my life. But man, the people were so nice. So nice. Barry was here yesterday in a meeting, and he's been married 56 years. I know this because he's 3 years short of me living.
Right.
And he's been, so I came up with a theory. If you live there, your marriage lasts longer. Because when you guys argue,
It's very
you sort
proper.
you sort of do it very properly. Very properly. I don't disagree. In the Bronx, they take out weapons.
You're like, get out of here.
The
Yep.
Sharks and the Jets all over again.
We missed you at the event, though.
I missed it. I really wish I could have joined.
We missed you at the event. The timing was perfect because the following week, I don't know if that event would have even
It
happened.
went up.
Yeah.
We probably would have had to have canceled it. So our timing of it worked out great.
And I really wanted to join remotely, but with the time difference, 5 o'clock there, we were always out and about doing something, so it
Which is
didn't
nice.
work out. But
And
so-
do you stay past midnight doing travels? Like in Spain, I was getting up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, there in the winter, it's dark before 4 o'clock. So
Is it?
pitch dark. So yeah, it's you don't do stuff in the evening. In the summer, it's great because it's bright until after 10 o'clock at night, and you're out. It's warm, and I saw a program the other day where actually a lot of the champagne, the growing of the grapes for champagne is actually moving to Kent in England because of climate change. It's perfect climate now to grow those same grapes. So they're actually making champagne in England now. So it just kind of shows you it's warming up.
Things are changing.
Yeah, definitely. So
Things are changing.
summer's really nice in England. So I love sitting out in a pub in the garden, in the pub, beautiful scenery, light until 10.
Did you miss
almost 11
it?
o'clock
Did
at
you
night.
miss when you got there? Went, wow, I don't know why I left. Or are you happy that you lived in here?
I mean, I didn't miss part of it. So like, it was completely gray sky for 2 weeks. We didn't see any glimpse of the sky. So that felt a bit claustrophobic, and it got dark so early. But I really love the architecture, just the history. I'd forgotten just how much that is. I love that. And the traditions. Christmas is brilliant there. So much better than the food. I'm a foodie, and just the food, alcohol, and everything. Everyone's drinking and wine and liquor and brandy and everything, and the food was amazing, and it was just great to be with family
That's nice.
during that time. So it
That's
was a really
lovely.
good trip, despite all the hassles of travel with COVID, and we had to take multiple tests all the time, and just to make sure that we weren't transmitting anything to anybody. And
We've been doing that here.
the
For New
flying
Year's, we all
things.
had to test before we went to my sister's. Before people
Yeah.
came over my house, I had people testing in I've had like a drive-by in my house. You had to test
Yeah.
in the driveway before you come in.
sure.
So we've
See,
been
now
doing.
they're not
Good.
laughing at me when I wanted to put the tent of
Yeah.
sanitary stuff, sprays, and you have to basically
Yeah.
take a shower before you came in here. No, nobody's laughing all of a sudden.
No one's laughing.
I wanted to ask you, the tube between France and England, which is not complete, you drive through that, and there's a train also that goes through that?
The Eurotunnel, yeah. So, I've been on that several times. So, you can just get boarded like a normal train, just to buy a seat and go under
But can
there.
you drive through it
You
as well?
can. So some of the cars you can actually drive your car in like a ferry, but you drive into the train, and it closes. We even went work trip when I was working at the university in England. We took a work trip. It was a bus, and we drove the whole bus into the train, closed, and then we went in the Eurotunnel and we drove out. It was kind of like a ferry.
And you're in France.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Do you know, my God, I'm going to age myself. When they were building that tunnel is when I went to England.
Oh.
When you got married?
Excuse me?
When you were married, didn't you go
I
there?
was married, but I didn't get married.
No, but didn't you go there with one of your
I
wives?
went, no.
I feel
didn't
like
go-
King Henry VIII. Didn't you
no,
go with
Henry
one of your
VIII
wives?
didn't go with any wives. I went there on a trip that I started in Switzerland and went to Barcelona, went to Portugal, and ended up in England, and then took it to France. But I remember, no, I didn't take it to France. They were just building it. And they showed these machines underneath with these tubes that they built to burrow through the mud and everything that was done.
Yeah.
One of the seven wonders of the world is this tunnel. which is tremendous. So if you ever go to either or,
Yeah, and they dug from both sides and somehow met in the
and
middle.
they met in the middle.
Yeah, crazy.
And they had this
Engineering.
technology because when they first started, they were off.
Yes.
So there's like a little bent or something in there that when it's very gradual. But I remember that's when I went to this thing, and they
The
took
building.
us down to the site. The British people are just
Very
hysterical
proper.
the way they do the things.
All right, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we got to see what's going on with Dignity Memorial, because I know while you were gone, we had some people that took advantage of the discount. And they didn't even want to wait for you to get back in town because the discount was so incredible.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Dignity Memorial. People are asking what you do. Do you work at a funeral home? Do you only do pre-arrangements? So we got to re-educate people on what Ryan Henry is up to. So
Cool.
stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
Justin Mooney is special counsel of the Florida office of Hinman, Howard & Cattell Attorneys. Justin's practice focuses on tax, estate planning, guardianship, probate, and trust administration. His passion is to provide clients with sophisticated estate plans which carry out their wishes, reduce any potential taxes, and preserve wealth for future generations. The attorneys of Hinman, Howard & Cattell provide first-class legal services and have achieved a reputation for excellence for over a century, staying on the leading edge of the law. When you need representation or legal counsel, contact Justin Mooney at 561-276-1008 or jmooney@hhk.com.
Hi friends, join Kids and Capes with Bree
and Allie as we find out about kids we know giving back and making a difference all around us.
friendship, bullying, and all things kids really want to talk about. Even topics you might be a little scared to share with your parents.
We will keep you up to date with the news kids really want to know.
And we will always give tips on how to make our world a little bit brighter.
Now on with the show.
Always remember, peace,
Love and kindness.
Welcome to Mini Donut World, where the donuts are hot, fresh, and delicious, made to order and customizable by you. Gourmet specialty flavors such as apple pie, French toast, campfire, and strawberry cheesecake are always popular. Looking to tailor your appetite? Build your own mini donuts. Choose from over 18 flavored donut bases, add on your icing flavor, and choose from over 15 toppings and drizzles. While kids enjoy our design your own kits to take home, our 21 and over customers love our alcohol-infused donuts. Come visit Mini Donut World at 8763 Sterling Road in Cooper City. Have questions or want to place an order? Give us a call at 954-369-2301. We know you will love each bite of our deliciously distinctive mini donuts.
Watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
playing this yesterday, Alana and Slick.
And we're back.
They're going to put your face on it and my face on it. Or your
First of
face
all-
and a question mark.
First of all, you ever play Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Wayne? This game has been around since World War II. And it was created for children so that they can
Rock'em Sock'em?
they could play this game like a boxer, but it's nonviolent. So I saw she got it, we played it. I haven't played it in about 35 years. And I played Dawn yesterday, and she beat me. So I will never play this game again.
Is that how you are with games?
Done.
Are you just like a sore loser?
No, but I just can't believe. First of all, I was supposed to be red, and you were supposed to be blue.
All right, turn it around then.
No, you won. We're going to leave it at that. Just leave it at that.
Oh my gosh, and Wayne got to see the picture created by Jay Harmon, so you got to love what Jay put together, right?
Hilarious, yeah.
So great. We haven't seen
What
Wayne
was
though.
that plant? That
The calla
flower?
lily. You
Calla
tell me
lily.
that's your mother's favorite.
It
is
is
the
my
lily.
mother's. It ain't Wayne's, though.
Well, you know what it is? It's a symbol of passing.
Lilies, yeah.
I don't know why
funeral.
lilies are, but they seem to
Passing
be
away, where they
Yeah.
going?
with Wayne.
Yes.
Well, speaking of Jay, he did a great drawing of my dog Bailey. I've got that framed, and I want to bring the picture in with my actual dog Bailey next week, and Jay, and kind of highlight, it's just amazing talent, and just the likeness of Bailey in the drawing, and just highlight what Jay did.
Jay
for that.
Harmon
It's
is
just
so
great.
incredibly talented
It's just amazing.
that people don't realize, and there are people that watch our show and they listen with one ear, it goes in one ear and out the other. But I purchased 2 pieces from Jay, I've purchased 2 pieces from Amy for my new house, and I brought 2 pieces home. I was telling you the story, and Chuck looks at them and he goes, holy cow. He said, that looks just like you. Now, it wasn't me. He said, what was that show?
The Raven.
Dark. There was like a TV show where it was like
Dark-
went back and everything, Dark Shadows.
Shadows.
And it was like, I've never seen it. Person's past lives and their portraits are on the wall. Again, I go back to Disney World in the Haunted Mansion. My life is around Disney World. He says, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much that looks like you. I mean, and it wasn't me, but Jay is so incredibly talented, right? On pet portraits. He's so quiet and mild-mannered.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So I want to share that with viewers. Bit of fun bringing in the dog
You're
as well.
bringing the dog with you. Now, the dog
Yeah.
has passed, everybody.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, the dog hasn't passed? I thought you were
No.
bringing Bailey's. Oh, Bailey's still with you.
Bailey's.
Oh,
no,
thank
no, no.
goodness.
No,
Phew.
No.
You're making me nervous because you had told me what your plans were with Bailey.
No. Bailey is my dog.
Oh, Bailey still exists.
Yes,
What do you
yes.
think? He's going to
Yes.
pick up the dog and bring him in?
No, because you had told me that your cremation plans were to be with Bailey.
No, Daisy. That's not previous
Oh,
dog.
okay. So you're bringing Daisy, not Bailey.
No.
You're bringing Bailey, not Daisy.
Daisy is our previous bearded collie
Thank
who
you.
died.
Understand
She's
my
been
confusion?
cremated. Bailey is a dog, our living dog. that
I
we
thought
have
you were
now.
bringing Daisy in an urn
No.
to talk about what
no,
Wayne.
No.
What?
No. The whole point of bringing Bailey in it is he is still alive. And they can see the likeness between the real dog and the drawing.
I thought you were bringing the other dog in the urn that you
I gotta
did your
tell you
whole pre-need with.
I got to tell you something. Ever since she's taking that Raven picture home, I've had to deal with the most wackiest person. Oh, you're bringing in your dead dog.
Well, it's Wayne. Couldn't he bring the
So-
dog in an
so-
urn?
so are you
Understand
bringing-
who it is.
Are you
Stuffed
digging the
dog,
dog up
taxidermy
or
or
bringing
something.
You're bringing the dead dog, not the live dog.
I
You're
didn't know
bringing
he
the
had
dead
a
dog.
live dog. I thought he only had a dog that
No.
passed.
Thank you for playing.
We have a dog that is alive that I want to bring in. He's very sweet,
Thank you.
very small.
This segment brought to you by Cup of Rum.
Yeah.
No, just
But
what kind
the
of
whole
dog?
point is to see that
The likeness,
the
of
likeness
Bailey.
that Jay captured in the drawing of the real dog.
Not you, the dog.
He's a Shih Tzu, a Shih
It
Tzu
just gets
poodle.
thicker.
Oh, those are beautiful. A Shih Tzu poodle.
Yeah.
And it's alive.
And she is alive.
You know, I've worked with you
And-
7 years. I've never heard you say these comments.
And speaking of being alive,
Speaking of being alive, let's talk about Dignity
Dignity
Memorial.
Memorial, we say while you're still alive, it probably would be a good idea to actually prepare for your final days. Well in advance. So Dignity Memorial, we're the largest funeral, cremation, and cemetery provider in North America. Been working with you guys for quite a while now.
Yeah.
With 2 years? Over 2 years? So we do the obvious. We've got 250 locations here in Florida. We've got about 2,800 throughout our network in North America. We do the obvious if someone passes away or someone is about to. But we do a lot of education. A big reason why we've been a sponsor here. I show up on the show is to educate people about the benefits of doing their pre-arrangements. It's much better for your family if you make those decisions ahead of time. And it's not that, someone is near death, you give us a call, do that ahead of time. That happens a lot. A lot of the calls we get are exactly that, and we can certainly help in that situation. But we say it's much better in many ways if you do this while you're still very healthy, young, as part of your maybe wider estate plan, preparing for your end, and we prepare for a lot of things. We can help you put your pre-arrangement, funeral and or cemetery arrangements in place ahead of time. And the reason for doing that is twofold. One is you get to decide what happens. You don't leave that burden to your family, so they have to decide for you what's best for your final resting place, and whether that's cremation or burial. They don't have to make those decisions for you. But also financial. We can lock in today's price. Those can never go up. I think there's very few things I can think of where you can purchase something years or decades in advance and you don't have to worry about raising costs. This is what we're offering. You can lock in today's price. You don't even have to pay that in full. We can do various payment plans. Whatever you put in your plan, even your cemetery, is locked in. Those costs can never go up in price. Also, we offer transferability within our network. Like I said, we have 2,800 locations. So if you do your pre-arrangements and end up moving to another state, another area, we also cover Canada and Puerto Rico. Whatever you have in place will be honored by any of our other locations anywhere in our network at no additional charge. So it's future-proof in that way. But we know that rising costs, prices double every 7 to 10 years. So if you do this now, decades in advance, you could potentially save your family quite a lot of money. But more importantly than that, when the time does come, it's so much easier, and we see this day in and day out, if someone has put their pre-arrangements in place where the family doesn't have to make those decisions, it's so much easier at the time, rather than having to. And there are a lot of things, there are actually over 100 different decisions to be made. And that's pretty rough to do that right when you've lost someone that you care about, to come in and look at all the caskets, for example, or urns if you're being cremated, make all of those decisions. And a lot of times it's heartbreaking to see that. I'm like, I never talked about this with my mom or dad or my spouse. I don't know what they would have wanted. So, they do the best they can. So there's that emotional burden, and if there isn't, those pre-arrangements aren't in place, and they're paying the highest possible price at that time. There are no discounts, there's no payment plans at that time. You're paying the highest possible price. So that's also heartbreaking, where it can be expensive depending on what someone wants. So, I've been in the room where families, we've had 10 credit cards. Can we split it 10 ways?
People don't realize what the cost is.
Yeah, average for a funeral these days is about it's getting up to about 10 grand a year, or 10 grand for an average funeral. If you're doing cremation, it's often less, but depending on what you're doing. So
now that's just the funeral. That doesn't include the casket and
cemetery. It varies depending on what you're choosing, but roughly around 10 grand for everything that you need. For traditional burial or mausoleum. Even within the same cemetery, however, it can vary. It's location, same as anywhere else. If you're doing a mausoleum, that we call the head and heart level, where you can touch it, is the most expensive. The higher up you go, the penthouse is the least expensive there. Ground burial, if it's near the water or near a path, it's going to be more expensive than in the middle of a garden. Of course, there's family estates, which can be a good option for families where they have more flexibility in doing what they want to do. So basically, long story short, we recommend give it some thought. Unfortunately, something that we all 100% are going to need, hopefully later than sooner. But the earlier you make those decisions, put something in place, at least decide what you want and write that down somewhere is a good idea. So at least your family don't have to guess what you would want if something happens unexpectedly. But we really would love to sit down with anybody just to go over and help you put together a plan. Look through the different options. And I often meet with people and said, I think we want to do this, but we haven't thought about it at all. And actually, we have no idea. If we want to do cremation or burial, help us look at all the different options. So we often meet with people multiple times to kind of narrow down their choices. And some people is like, okay, let's at least get the basics in place. Okay, I've decided I want to be cremated. It's like, okay, great. So let's at least put a basic cremation plan in place. So that's there. So at least we can perform, the necessities when something happens, and then the family can decide later on about what sort of memorial service or other types of things they may want. Other people saying, you know what, let's do this. Whatever I put in there, I know we're going to lock in that price. So I'm going to give a nice gift to my family. We're going to have a nice send off for me when it's my time, and they're not going to have to worry about it.
You have helped so many people in our network. I'm just sitting here thinking of how many people have put their plans together, including both of us, with you.
Yeah. Well, it's been an honor to help people, and I thoroughly do enjoy that. And a lot of people say, Wayna, how do you do what you do? It must be really depressing. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't enjoy the calls where, it's like, oh, we're going to unplug my brother tomorrow. Can we do something beforehand? That's not very nice, but most of the time I'm meeting people getting a bit older. They're saying, it's time to do an estate plan. A lot of people saying, my parents did this for me. They took care of the arrangements and it was very easy. I want to do the same. I don't want to leave this burden for my kids or my spouse. But I've had people as young as, in their 30s who they're doing their estate plans. Maybe they have kids, thinking about their wills and things. And this, ideally would be a big part of that, where they put those things in place. And someone in the 30s, hopefully it's going to be 50 years in advance or more. They're going to save a whole, excuse my French, whole hell of a lot of money to lock in today's price. 50 years later, it's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars of savings.
Do you see an uptick in cremation versus burials or mausoleums?
So cremation is getting more popular. It's nearing 70% of people are choosing cremation these days. But some people have I definitely do not want to do that. And of course you don't have to. But even if you are choosing cremation, we encourage everyone to consider, it doesn't end with you being cremated. Where do you want your final resting place to be? Whether that's scattering, could be scattering in the sea or scattering somewhere else. We say leave instructions, because if you don't, your distant relatives 50 years from then, or after your death, are not going to have your urn on the mantle. It's going to end up in the trash, or someone's going to have to make that decision later on.
Oh, so that would be so sad.
Yeah. Do you remember we did that promotion for our
Uncle
cemetery,
Arthur.
saying, isn't it time for Uncle Arthur to come out of the closet? If you've got an urn.
Wow, imagine trashing
we can
that.
we can help you do the scattering and things like that. So
I gotta tell you, I saw Channel 12. I was having my coffee like I do every morning, and they had the reef on the news. And I'm sitting there because, we talk about the reef. You had that beautiful thing to show people. We have the turtle with the plaque and everything on it. And everybody was talking about it on Channel 12. And they had the same photos and video that you sent us. And it's become a popular scuba diving place as well.
Yep.
One of the most sought after in the world. So they put this on and they play it. And everybody's looking at each other that's some idea. That's some unique way of looking at it, because you're right, a lot of people think about being cremated, but then it's being cremated with a purpose, I think one of the people said. Because it adds life back to the ocean.
Right.
And they showed it. And I'm sitting there, and Linda comes over and she says, "Is Wayne in the video?" I said, "No, he hasn't died. He's not in the video." But I remember talking about it, and we've been with Wayne such a long time, and the different options. We've done shows at the places and everything else. I wanted to ask you, they have the place where you put the urns. What is that called, that room, that niche?
That was up in Forest Lawn, I think it was. Or no, the Dorsey, Earl Dorsey.
Yeah, in Lake Worth. So we call that glass-fronted niche. So it's a room inside the funeral home. So some of our funeral homes have this, what's under air conditioning. It's actually got a glass door that's sealed, but you can see through it. So you can have your loved one's urn, or there's different sizes. You can have multiple urns, and many of them with like a photograph or other memorabilia and things like that, where you can actually see.
Flags
Yeah,
in
you
there.
can actually see into it. And you can visit under air conditioning, and it's quite nice.
Now that's open 24/7?
No.
No.
So
There
you
are
have to visit
days
during
that
the
you
day.
have to make.
You have to visit during the day. Yeah.
But even cemeteries
even
aren't
the main
open
cemetery
24/7.
closes at
They close
dark.
because in
Right.
Puerto Rico, they close at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. Then you
No, we
can't go there till
usually
Monday.
close at dusk.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually
But these
closed.
other places, you have to go within closing hours. Who changes the casing? I'm asking because somebody asked me, and I hadn't seen you, so I wasn't
Who
going to
changes
text
the
you.
casing?
Like what they put inside the casing, is that changeable? Does the person do it? Does Dignity Memorial do it? Because I saw all sorts of
we can
things in
help.
these
We can help with it. So we've got some talented people that can help, lay things out. But usually it's, there's part of the arrangements is there's a fee, because it's not like anyone can go up and open it. You've
Right.
got to, we've got to open it, put it in there, and then seal it. So that, there's special tools to be able to open it. So. But you can put multiple urns in there, and the same as any other niche, there would be a fee to inter the urn. But at that time, we can help. But yeah, it's flexible. So if you like, I want to add some stuff, yeah, it's no big deal.
It's funny because when you're in the ground or on the wall, whatever, it's funny the basement is cheaper than the penthouse. It's more expensive than the penthouse.
Oh, it's because you can touch it, you can reach it. Yep.
But a lot of people like to still have that feel, and they were when I told them that this exists, they didn't believe me. So on my computer, I went, because we did a show there, I went to the niche, I call it the niche, and I showed that person that you can go there and actually relate to seeing it. In the ground, a lot of people wish that they can open it and see you, because you always want to be able to, I wish I could see my mom and dad, and they're in the ground. So you sort of go, you sit there, they have a little bench, you sit there. You can't do that. But with this thing, it's unbelievable the feel that you can have for it.
But we have a lot of flexibility around even in-ground burial on the marker. We've got technology. We can, if we have a photograph, we can actually engrave a photo, and
on the
we do a
marker?
collage, different photos on the marker. Also on the mausoleum. Outside the granite there, you can have a photo put on there that's framed. We've got lots of different technology, different options around there as well.
There's so many things you can do. And I know when I went through my cemetery plan, I went through 2 separate plans with you. The cemetery plan, I didn't like the mausoleum because I know was when we laid my grandparents to rest, the noise of the ball bearings. I couldn't do that. So we found a plot in the cemetery, but I didn't want people to walk on top of me. So we found one that has a level, you said everything has a path. So there were so many things in my head that I knew I didn't want before I knew what I wanted.
Sure.
And you had options. So that's what I love so much about it, is we found a place that there's a path next to it, no one's walking on me. It's not a cemetery, someone has to hear the noise of going into the wall. Some people love that. That doesn't bother them.
The noise of going into the wall.
All 4 of my grandparents are in mausoleums, and I remember every time distinctively.
Yeah, so
when
they
it
have
goes,
little ball bearings in the floor of the
because it has to roll in,
crypt, just so the casket can glide in.
I didn't like the noise. So there's certain things in being in a
You
wall.
didn't like the noise?
Yes.
You mean to be put into a
To
mausoleum?
watch the noise, yeah.
Your body going into a mausoleum, you didn't like the noise?
Correct. Correct. I wanted to be
Your dog alive, right?
among the trees and be able to breathe. But that's just me. So, but you found me an option.
Yeah,
is what my point
I loved
being.
your plan, Dawn, where you did the celebration. We've got the butterflies planned. It's so you.
And the birds are gonna eat the.
No birds. We just did the butterflies, right?
We didn't do the birds. We're doing the butterflies.
But there's an option for everyone and what everyone wants. There's an option. And then you worked with another client, and she wanted the mausoleum, and she wanted to be out in Menorah Gardens, and you worked with her and her husband for that one.
Yeah.
And I know another client, while you were away, worked with somebody to take advantage of the 20% off.
Sure.
So that was tremendous. And you were away, but you had enough colleagues that were here to help them.
Yeah, so I was glad to hear that several people took advantage after I left and got that.
They were
that
chasing
done.
you down. I gotta tell you, you're not.
We were sitting here on the phone, Wayne, during a show saying, all right, this one's away. But wait, I'll get this. But wait, it's right before New Year's. I mean, it was crazy here because they all wanted to get it in for the end of the year.
And people showed up at the movie theater wanting to talk to you.
But they did.
And they showed up, and I said, he's not coming. He's in England. What? Give me his number. I want to call him. She's not gonna call him now.
But a lot of options, and that's what's so great about what you do is you go through the steps, and there's no fear in it. I remember thinking, I can't afford this, so I don't even want to look at it. So what do you always say when you bury your head? What sticks up?
Yeah.
No pun intended on that one. But you help everyone realize it's okay.
I mean, costs are going up, but the main savings is locking in the price and avoiding all the future cost inflation. That's huge. Huge. So, it's never too late. Well, I guess it could be.
He's got a great sense of humor.
We can help anybody. So even if a death has occurred, we work with people and can make that horrible time as good as it can be. That's our speciality. It's always going to be a crappy time when someone passes away, even if you don't prepare for it. I mean, that's our advice, but we're not going to say, we told you so. Ideally come in and see us ahead of time, but if something happens unexpectedly, we're gonna work with families and make do everything we can to make that as smooth as possible.
What is the best way to contact you?
So my cell phone is the best, 561-654-9000. All right, you can call or text me. Now, unfortunately, that 20% discount is over, and we're never going to see that again. But you've got the standing 10% discount because you've joined the Dignity Memorial Benefit Program. And we haven't seen price increases yet this new year, but they're coming. So warning for everybody, we're going to see some price increases. It's definitely coming sooner than later. So we encourage you, always it's better to do it earlier than later, but we know price increases are coming. It's a new year. We do a lot of virtual stuff. I know COVID's gone a bit nuts. I was shocked, really, coming back, hearing so many of my colleagues are out with COVID. Things are shutting down again. When it first hit, our lawyers got in place, and we can do virtual appointments, and we basically can show you everything we would if we were meeting in person. So if you want the information, still a bit hesitant about meeting in person. I've been triple vaccinated. I've taken so many negative tests, and I continue to do that. So I'm fairly safe, but I completely understand if people are reluctant to get out of the house right now or meeting in public. We can do a home appointment if that's for you, as long as no one's showing any symptoms there, wearing masks. So we definitely want to keep everybody safe, but don't use COVID as an excuse not to get the information and not do this. There are safe ways to do this. Even with the current situation. But just in general, encourage everybody to get the information, even if you don't put your pre-arrangements in place, at least make some kind of rough decision about what you want yourself, and let that be known to your family. We give everyone one of our personal planning guides, which are great, where you can actually record your wishes, some details, which is always going to be helpful for your family. So if nothing else, meet us, get some information, at least know. I can even tell you what the current costs are and what we expect for the costs to be in the future. So we can give you an estimate of if you don't prearrange, what those costs are likely to be in the future, just so you can help plan. There are different ways of funding it. Some people say, well, I have life insurance. That'll take care of it at the time. Like, well, you don't know. You don't know if that life insurance is actually going to cover the cost, because if you're not locking in the price, that's can go up quite a lot, potentially more than what your life insurance will cover. Also, even if the costs are covered, you're still leaving the burden to your family to make those arrangements and those decisions.
Right.
And also be aware there's always delay. You know, the life insurance, your family can't access those life insurance funds at the time of death. That's quite a while later.
Yep,
You need death certificate and
true.
things like that. Those arrangements have to take place and be paid. We unfortunately, we can't bury anyone or cremate anyone without payment in full at the time of death. So, but just be aware what is involved. You know, for you, if you've got other things in place that are going to cover the costs and make those decisions, great. You know, as long as you have a plan, something in place, and let that be known, we're happy to give you advice and information to help you, you know, at least decide what you want. Ideally, you'd fund that ahead of time, and we can offer a variety of options for payment. And
Just
things
give
like
Wayne a call. Call him.
Well, and it is important. You know, they did me a solid when Mom died during the hurricane. We were there the day after, and there was no way of paying Dignity. I even gave him my driver's license. I said, listen, you hold on to this. I promise you. I didn't know that there was absolutely no power anywhere. And the guy from Dignity said, you know what, don't worry about it. Let's take care of this. And they put her in a tomb because the cemetery plot was destroyed.
In the hurricane, yeah.
In the hurricane. And they took care of business. And I got to tell you, hats off to them. They took care of Mom. They took care of Dad. They're taking care of my uncle, Ramon and Mencia. And they were there. And you don't understand what there means until, unfortunately, you have to go through this thing. And I understand why people chase Wayne, because he's one of a kind. He's a class act. It was my son's conversation with him and them telling me what they had planned to do to me that I said, whoa, wait a minute. You're going to what? Because they're going to cremate me. I said, that's not what I want. I didn't do that for my parents. They didn't want that either. My brother didn't want that either. Mimi doesn't want that either. Mimi's, who knows what I mean. And they followed through what they said they were going to do. So it does make a difference while you're still able to do and make decisions. If you're not making them, it's your son, your daughter, your family, leave it behind. I like the fact that you can leave instruction. Because I'm going to tell you something, it is the worst 24 hours of your life when a loved one passes. The worst. And you got to be able to think, and they help you do that. They have everything pre-planned, and there ain't nothing like that in the world. I would never, ever, for the rest of my life, ever forget what Dignity Memorial did for my parents, and that's a fact.
Give Wayne a call, 561-654-9000.
That's right.
654-9000. We're going to take a commercial break. Wayne, welcome back.
Thanks.
We've
Great
missed
to see you guys.
for
I missed
sure.
you.
The candies are delicious, but we've really missed having you join us and all of the information.
The seat missed you.
And just
you
having
notice
you
that
with us.
The pattern is in it.
When we come back, we've got Jordana Foster of John Maxwell Group and the host of Ready, Set, Go Beyond. She has her third season with us as her own show as a business coach and life coach. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about Freddie's favorite, goals. We'll be right back.
Amp Media Productions and WNN Money Talk Radio have been in continuing business for 10 years. They've been working around the clock, nonstop, to promote over 500 shows and businesses with added platforms such as social media live streaming, podcasts, and the specialty of live radio. To amplify your impact and start your show today, contact Amp Media Productions at 866-224-5422.
With enough butter, anything is good. Tori Wells from Precious Treasure Gourmet Foods thinks so, because she single-handedly updated and expanded butter's possibilities. From compound, savory, sweet, and spicy, her freshly made butters aim to please. I don't know about you, but I've never really seen butter this versatile before, and now so feasible. With online shopping, just visit PreciousTreasuresGourmetFoods.com, because at Precious Treasures, Tori is working on the best artisan gourmet foods to every table. Remember, guys, true love is like butter. there's no substitute.
Here at the Brooklyn Cafe, our subjects range from hot topics, feel-good stories, and back-in-the-day nostalgia. With guest personalities and business features, you just never know who you'll see on the show. With our brew crew on set, we always air live to inspire, educate, and create. Make it a date and have a day at the cafe. Join Dawn and Freddie every weekday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. and for lunch every weekday from 12 to 2. Amplify your voice. Call us at 866-224-5422 or visit our website at brooklyncafe.tv.
I am so glad today we got an early start. Where are we headed anyway?
Who knows? Wherever this glorious day takes us, and we'll take Don Pablo along too. Rich and flavorful with low acidity and notes of caramel. No matter where you're going or where you end up, Don Pablo never disappoints.
Excuse me, is that Don Pablo coffee?
Sure is.
Do you have any more?
Sure do. Baby, hop in.
No matter where life takes you, Don Pablo Coffee is always there to pick you up.
Watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
That was just a mellow, quiet, and we're back. Good to go?
I don't know.
We're good to go. Welcome back, everyone, on this Friday, the Brooklyn Cafe Show, January 7th. 12 days of Christmas are over. They came, they picked up our Christmas tree. Everything is packed away. It is time to push forward for the new year. New goals, new ideas, new inspirations, new dreams. I dreamt all night. This is the weirdest thing, and I was going to ask you all night, Kabul. Kabul. One-room houses in Kabul. I'm like, what the heck does that mean?
Cabo, Mexico?
Not Cabo, Kabul, Afghanistan. I wake up and there's this huge uprising this morning, and I'm thinking, holy cow, if only I could dream the lottery numbers. Just saying.
So let me get this right. Your dog is alive?
I'm dreaming. And I'm dreaming about one-room houses in Kabul. Crazy, I know. Wait, I'm going to be slick. Just kidding, slick. Anyway, we've got Jordana Foster joining us, host of Ready, Set, Go Beyond show. Third season with us, and she's just got incredible words of wisdom, word of the day, gratitude, goals, perseverance.
Well, let her give us a word
We're
of the
going to
day.
see what the word of the day is.
Yeah,
We're going
let's
to
do
bring
that.
her over. She is joining us from her home in Miami. There she is.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon. How are you guys?
We're great. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. First full week of the new year.
How is that
Very
going?
exciting. I didn't hear what you said.
How's that going for you?
It's going amazing. You know, it's all about being very intentional and being very passionate about what you're doing, which is really the word of the day.
Passionate?
Passion.
Passion.
Passion for what you're doing, passion for how you're feeling, just being full of excitement and not just phoning it in, you know, with your goals, with your desires, with your aspirations, with your relationships, with who you are and what you want to do. You need to be on fire with that.
So is it important to write our goals down for 2022?
150%.
Really?
I am all about, when I coach and train, especially not just for my clients, but for myself, it is so important for us to have that clarity and not just have that all in our head. There's so much in there, right? And not on our phones, our devices. It is not the same thing as putting pen to paper, really taking that quiet moment and allowing those thoughts and those goals to flow, and then connecting those words, those goals, to feelings. And that doesn't happen when it's in our head. That doesn't happen when it's attached to our devices. It only happens when you put pen to paper and you really connect with what it is that you want to accomplish, what you want to do, how you want to feel. And
So-
it really is essential. That's
So
why
it's-
journaling, I teach journaling. I mean, yes, Freddie, tell me.
Is it fair to say desire of what you want to accomplish, that desire is going to create more opportunity for you in the future if you stay in that consistent mode?
Definitely. And I like where you're going with that, because desire linked with passion, which is the word, right? That is energy. We all are energy, right? And so that desire for what we want to accomplish, it doesn't mean we're not going to have, look, the last 2 years, difficult in so many different ways, for some more than others. You know, the challenges and the uncertainty. There's no doubt about it. Will never diminish or minimize what we've been through and are still in, especially as business owners and just human beings on this planet. But the thing is that we need to be accountable to ourselves and have that desire and check in with that every day, especially on the days that are tough. So if you don't write that down, if you don't connect with it every single day, if you don't revisit it and notice what it is that you want to accomplish and why, which is that desire, then you're going to fall off course every single chance, every single opportunity, because there's so much doubt from other people of what we can do, right? Our own self-doubt and limiting beliefs. And also the possibilities for this new changed business landscape that we're all trying to figure out. So if we aren't clear on what we want to accomplish and having that desire and writing it down and possibly having a coach like me to hold you accountable and really challenge you, then it's going in a few weeks, a few months, you're not going to accomplish it. And then you're going to feel worse because you don't know why. It was
Because people
there.
are trying just to get through the day and deal with the speed bumps. So your passion and your desire might be there, but you can't even think about it because you're getting hit from every which way from other people on what's going on in their lives.
Yes, and we don't have, control is a very interesting thing. There's so much we've learned in these past almost 2 years of what we do not have control over, right? And we really need to focus or reframe what we do have control over. And when we do that, it's not going to take away the frustration of all these things and the uncertainty, but it allows us to reclaim what's within our power, what is within our control, and that is how we think, how we feel, and what we do, and who we surround ourselves with. All of those help us on this path to stick with it, even when it gets hard, especially because it does. We need to really dig in to what we said we wanted to do. And you know what? Just like with a diet, which I don't like diet, it's a healthy living or eating well, or our thoughts or our regimen, if you're going to read more, or if you're going to, whatever that is for you, your financial goals, your business goals, your emotional goals, your physical goals, whatever, relational, we need to really think about what's within our control instead of blaming all these other things that are real, absolutely real, but we don't control those. So we just have to really reframe what we do have control over. And I think that there's something very reassuring about that.
It's true. I'm entering my 13th year doing media production.
Congratulations.
And I've been working with Dawn. We're entering our 7th year doing as co-host. And I have to tip my hat because I've now entering the 3rd year with you. And you've always been on Tuesdays at 7. And you do interviews. Huh?
30.
7:30.
7:30.
7:30, my bad. But you do interviews on the show at times, and other times you do the show where you're like you are right now. The hardest part of this business, and I'm telling you from 13 years of doing this, I did it with her for 7 now, 6 before that. I did it with my son. I did it with other co-hosts. I could not do what you do.
Yeah, me neither.
I cannot do it. And the way you bring it, the enthusiasm, the energy levels, you run out of time. And I get so caught up listening to what you say. I repeat what you say the next day, that the time goes by and we have to say, oh, we got to go. And this is one unique day because there are 2 trains of thought that I'm thinking about right now. That's one. What Wayne does is another. Because what he does is other people do the same business. Other people do the same thing you do. But the 2 of you do it differently because there's a wrinkle to it. There's an enthusiasm. There's comfort. There's the ability of bringing a message without teaching a lesson. And that's different in this business. People always say to me, oh, how long have you been doing? I've been doing it 13. I've been doing this business 15 years. But it is difficult to master it when you meet other people, to tell them, listen, if you do what you do and you continue to do it consistently, you're going to be great at what you do. Everybody's going to say, this Jordana chick has something going on. And I have to say, it's been unbelievable watching you grow from that first show. I'll never forget the first show to Tuesday's show. What a change. Under the most difficult of times for all of us, you've grown. And she is persistent on drilling home that message. The goals thing, the wordings, the different changes. I'm trying now to evolve more about what you do to the screen, which is my challenge, because I got to keep up with the Joneses. It's the same thing with Wayne.
Yeah.
People chasing us to talk to him because they want to deal with him. And in this business, as you grow And as you go, and as steady as you are, you got to keep going and doing the things that you do well. So I got to tip my hat. It's been outstanding watching you mature at this business.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it's been, everybody, it's been a journey, right? And if you can't just, I'm thrilled and so grateful for the success that I've had and the growth that I've had, but I don't stop there. I am on such a quest for knowledge and improvement and getting better. And I think that is so important. I'm very appreciative and I celebrate, but there's always, what do I want to keep improving? How do I keep going? And I think that once people hit a bar, they've done it and they relax too much. And I think that when you get a taste of that and you see what is involved, that's where you need to keep going into the next gear. That's what excites me, of potential and possibility, and really peeling away layers, so that's what I do for me. That's what I've done. And I have coaches that help me, but that's what I do for all of my clients. And when I do speaking engagements and trainings and private coachings, not letting people stay with where they're satisfied right now, but letting them uncover so much more. And that's where growth, we need to grow ourselves every single day by reading and surrounding ourselves with people who make us better, who push us and really inspire us and challenge us to not just stay where we are. We can't repeat where we were last year, no matter how great that was. Let's always try and be better so that we can inspire everyone else around us to do that too. So thank you.
When that self-doubt pops in your head, but you know what you want, but then there's that doubt of, how do I get through this again? Especially now, right? We're going into however many years this is. How do I keep going? How do I get through this? A coach like you hold someone accountable and they're like, Jordana, this is what's going on in my head right now. Can you help me?
Mm-hmm. So usually a lot of it is listening for me. I ask a lot of questions when I'm doing whether group coaching and training or, executive coaching, especially for business owners or team leaders and managers that are getting stuck in here, because we all have that same story and narrative, right? That we keep playing. And it's a story is what it is. It's not a fact. And so I always try and break down. It's like chipping away at, where did that come from? Why do you think that? What is the evidence that that's there? And then as we continue in this discovery and journey, which it is, this isn't a quick fix. None of this is. We're evolving into the people that we need to become. We're never there. It's a wonderful work in progress if we see it that way. And so the frustration that I can't do this, or I'll never be able to, and all of those negative, that self-talk and that self-doubt that's been ingrained in us. And a lot of times it's either what we've been told or what we tell ourselves. And so when I work with my clients, it's reframing. A lot of it's mindset, communication, and performance. Those are my 3 pillars. So we work with mindset first, because that's where things start within us. And then once you start doing the work and you boost that awareness, you start to, it's so interesting. Just the other day, I was on a Zoom with one of my clients and he started to say something. And the words came out and he stopped himself and he said, I'm gonna go back and say something else. And it was because of this newfound awareness that now what he had been saying about his management skills or leadership abilities, he was able to pause it and then replace that old narrative with a new narrative, with new words. And it's not a one and done, but once you start to catch that, you will then replace it with more positive things so that it can help you as we have those speed bumps, which we do have. And some of them have been pretty big boulders, to get out of.
So what should we do as we go into 2022 to grow our businesses. Everyone wants to grow their business, assumingly. What are some steps that we want to look at in 2022 versus where we were?
Well, I think the first thing, everybody is so quick to jump into the new year, and they don't want to take the time to reflect on last year. And I know there were a lot of things that we don't want to revisit, but that's where the growth comes in. That reflection point is so important because you can't know where you're going until you know where you were. And so if you can really take some time, and I do this with my clients, it's activities, but if you take the time, again, put pen to paper, have these conversations that a lot of people are afraid to have. They're very uncomfortable. They want to get through and past that to go to the next thing. But you can't go to the next thing until you realize what you did wrong or where you had your mishaps and the missteps or how you weren't communicating effectively with your team or your clients or all those things. So I think the first thing that I recommend, I like to do it at the end of the year, but it's never a bad time to reflect. It's a very important time to take for yourself, for your own self-discovery and awareness. So take the time, get a journal, a pad of paper, and get really quiet without, if it's possible, even just go to the park, go in your car, go outside where you're not going to have any distractions, and just reflect on what happened this past year. What went well, what didn't, and what you would like to change, and what you would like to keep. And then as you start to formulate all of those thoughts and that awareness, then we create a game plan, and that's where coaching comes in. I really think it's so important to invest. I know a lot of people are struggling, but you can't outperform where you're at in your head or your lack of communication skills. So if people can invest in their own personal growth and that awareness and those skill sets, it allows them to take those next steps once they've done that reflection point.
Why is journaling so important?
What?
Why is journaling so important?
Because I think that we're living in a time right now that everything is so incredibly fast-paced and fluid that we don't get quiet. We don't. When do you guys have time with your busy lives and your families and your businesses and getting new clients and your health and all of these things, right? Journaling allows that quiet time to get in touch with where your thoughts are right now, reflecting on the day and what you've been able to accomplish. I think it's so important to acknowledge the conversations you've had and who you've met. I mean, there's so many pieces to that, because when you do that, then it can help you for the next day of setting up the next day. What do you want to revisit? What do you need to continue? I'll have a conversation with someone and I will stop them midway because their energy is so negative that I don't have time for it, to be quite honest with you. Not that I'm not empathetic, but it's hurting them as well as me. So it's good to have that journaling time so that you can then know what's going right, what you didn't fulfill, not to feel bad, but to make tomorrow better. Instead of repeating the same days and not acknowledging where you need to improve and how you want to feel. We're on automatic, and it's not effective, and it doesn't serve us or our goals.
I got to tell you, I'm going to share a secret, and I usually don't do this. There was a time when at the radio station, everything was on automatic, like you are right now. And we have been doing the remix for 13 years, 15 years. It became a big phenomenon when everybody needed to work and you needed to talk to people virtually. There's a lot of reasons we don't do it the other way, we do it this way. But I go to the radio station and I kept leaving mics open. Remember, I had this problem with you one time. And I wasn't fast enough because I wasn't doing boards the way we do them now for a long time, at least over a year. So my hands were not moving fast enough to catch up to my brain. So I got frustrated because I had a bad week. I had to redo shows and everything else. I had a bad week. So I text Dawn, I called Dawn, and I says, you know what? I think it's time for me to hang up my cleats. Remember this conversation?
No, I do.
I said, I think I'm just not fast enough anymore. Can't do it. And Dawn said to me, you know what? Wipe that off and go in there and keep doing it till you get faster. This is probably the fastest. I could do 10 shows, one after the other, without a problem. And one of the biggest challenges we're going to be having is Ken's show, because that's after this show. But I've done that one time. I didn't do it well, but I will do it better. And I decided at that moment, because she got in my head and said, you know what? You think you can't, you're making that happen. But if you think you can, watch what happens. And I'm talking about 11 years, 12 years, 13 years of me doing this. And here I am saying, maybe it's time to hang up my cleats. Maybe it's time to move on. And I look at the interns, I look at the producers, how quick they are. So I got to be quicker. That's my new goal, to be quicker this year. I'm going to make it so that I can run rings around them. And I got better. And I haven't made those mistakes anymore at the other studio or this one. But it comes down to, don't quit on yourself. Don't say you ain't fast enough, you ain't quick enough, you ain't smart enough. Because the moment you do that, I see Steve. Steve is in the window. Steve is another guy who has taught me a lesson. Wayne has taught me a lesson, and you have taught me a lesson. Don't give in to what other people tell you. Believe in yourself first. It all starts with you. And then when you think that you need to get faster, then get faster. Get quicker. Get smarter. Because it's all out there. And watch yourself rise to the occasion. But I remember that day. And I got to tip my hat and say thank you. Because I almost said, I'm done. I'm just not fast enough anymore to do this. But it isn't true. You get the rust out and you keep going.
Did you hear that quote from Henry Ford? It always resonates with me. He said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
True.
Yeah.
So it goes back to saying, who's the most influential person in your life?
Yeah, let's ask Jordana, who's the most influential person in your life?
Oh my goodness. It's not my family. My family. It's not, my mother, my father inspire me every day, my kids, my husband. So it's not just one. But I know that even on that list, when I include family, it's also me. I rely very much on myself and my energy, but it's all of us together. And I think that, when you were just sharing that story, we believe whatever we tell ourselves, good and bad.
Yep.
And so we will always have tough days and we will have great days. And so we can't buy into when we're at that low energy and low frequency that we're not good enough or we can't do it, because that's when we need to really believe in ourselves more than ever before. That's where, now more than ever, how we're thinking and how we're feeling in what's going on in our world every single day and in business. And we need to work harder. We need to improve ourselves first. This is so important. Everybody wants to work on policies and procedures, and they bring me into their companies and everything. And at the end of the day, I'm working with people. So when you can work on the inside first, when you can get your mindset, your thoughts, your beliefs, all of that, when you can get a handle on that from an awareness and a strength standpoint, then your goals, they will just keep going. You're working on improving yourself and getting better. And that's the thrilling and exciting thing about it. Yes, there will be tough days. Not everything is going to go smoothly, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means you need to dig in a little deeper and work harder to make it happen, and how satisfying it's going to be when you do come out on the other side. And you will.
Jordana, as always, words of wisdom. How do people reach you for coaching?
So they can contact me on Facebook or Instagram at Ready, Set, Go Beyond. They can contact me on my email, readysetgobeyond@gmail.com, or they can contact me on my website, which is johnmaxwellgroup.com/Jordana Foster. And we need to make this the year that we go beyond the excuses and limitations. And I would love to be able to help business owners and continue to help them and their teams. And thank you so much. It's always thrilling to be a part of this and to add value and to share with everyone, because now we need to now more than ever. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Tune in every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. live on Ready, Set, Go Beyond, on streaming, and on WWNN. Jordana, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on Tuesday.
You.
Steve, hang tight. We're going to take a commercial break, and we come back.
They put Steve in the window.
It's time to, I know you were looking over there, right?
I'm saying the pictures come. They put Steve in the picture and said the picture came to life.
It's time to start our Gubba weekend, so stay tuned.
Max Lazega, who is whimsical and free-flowing, his 40 years in the construction industry created a foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Attention Florida residents. Is constant water damage from the elements putting holes in your pipes and your wallet? We cut the cost when disaster strikes. You deserve to have your house be a home again. At Triumph, we get you paid the most for your insurance claims. Broken pipes, water damage, and mold? Triumph Consulting covers it all. Call our offices now to qualify for a free house inspection at 954-669-4935 or visit www.wegetYouPaid.com.
Welcome to your vacation staycation. And what better way to kick back than to blend up a sweet pina colada, a smooth mojito, or just a nice stiff rum and coke. If you want true relaxation and enjoyment, then you want Gubba Rum. Gubba Rum is a unique rum infusion. Gubba Silver Rum is infused with real shredded coconut, and Gubba Rum Gold is infused with real shredded vanilla bean. Both are made with certified organic ingredients. Each infused Gubba Rum is 35% ABV, 70 proof, and as we say in Boston, wicked smooth. So if you're looking for the best combination of taste, smoothness, quality, and price, your clear choice is Gubba Rum. If you want that wicked smooth taste for yourself or your vacation staycation, visit GubbaRum.com to find your closest liquor store that carries Gubba Rum Gold and Gubba Rum Silver. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth.
At the Brooklyn Cafe, our subjects range from hot topics, feel-good stories, and back-in-the-day nostalgia. With guest personalities and business features, you just never know who you'll see on the show. With our brew crew on set, we always air live to inspire, educate, and create. Make it a date and have a day at the cafe. Join Dawn and Freddie every weekday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. and for lunch every weekday from 12 to 2. Amplify your voice. Call us at 866-224-5422 or visit our website at brooklyncafe.tv. We hope you're enjoying this episode of the Brooklyn Cafe TV show. Whether you enjoy watching in the mornings or afternoons, you can now watch with your favorite merchandise. Choose from the Brooklyn Cafe t-shirts, ranging from sizes small to 3XL. Colors available include black, dark heather, and navy. Feeling chilly? Just check out our latest hoodie with over 9 colors to choose from. Sip on some Brooklyn Cafe coffee with Dawn and Freddie in a matching mug as seen on set. Brooklyn hats and special seasonal items are always popping up and available upon request. To purchase, you can visit our online store at brooklyncafe.tv/shop. Happy shopping! Creative, enchanting, whimsical. Artist Gina Bella is always creating artwork based on real stories and emotions. Expressed through Italian papers, paints, flowers, metals, and clay, her feelings and stories come to life. Complete with glittery diamond dust over paintings and pottery, Gina Bella is always creating new pieces and commissions. You can find her work in staging homes, family Christian bookstores, New Jersey boutiques, and the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery, where she offers personal guided tours of her latest art pieces. Gina can also be found hosting weekend art camps, where she teaches adults and children pottery, painting, and jewelry. For more information on Gina Bella and her art, contact livinglifeartfully@gmail.com or give a call to 954-857-5444.
Coffee News is a fun, family-friendly weekly publication provided free to restaurants, coffee shops, and waiting areas for customers to enjoy. Grow your business today through the power of effective, affordable advertising. Coffee News is an active marketing medium specializing in the ongoing weekly promotion of your business. This builds awareness for your company so you become known as the leader of your industry and develop brand awareness so people think of you first when they want your services or products. Maximize your visibility and achieve outstanding results. For more information on Coffee News, contact Sunrise Coffee News at mail.com or give them a call at 954-951-7870.
Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
We're back and we're ready to love,
Ready
not
to
rumble, to love. Oh, well, thank you, Kenny.
You're welcome. I love you, Dawn.
Love you, Kenny. Thank you. Happy New Year.
All right, buddy.
Freddie's the king.
Welcome back, everyone, to our final segment of this first Friday in January. We kick off 2022. Wow, what a roller coaster this past couple years have been. But as always, we say I have a special thank you to Steve Gubb, who is joining us all the way from, I think, Boston.
Where it's like
It's almost
10
like we
degrees.
got the guys back in studio. We got Steve here. We got Wayne back in his chair. Kenny Love is here spreading some love, getting ready to kick off the Florida Love Show for 2022.
That's right.
All right, let's see if Steve is still there.
Where is Mr. Steve?
Slick is thinking about it. He's so busy thanking Sabrina for showing up that he's
No. Let me tell you what happened. He put Gubba in the picture, so he had to change it to get him back in play.
How you doing, Steve?
Well, I'm calling you today from the frozen tundra of...
Wait a minute, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me either.
We can't hear him.
Turn your volume up.
My volume is up.
It must be that snowfall in Boston.
Can you not hear me? No.
Gotcha.
There you are.
You got it? Can
Are
you hear
you
me?
caught up?
Love you, Gubba. Love you, Gubba.
Yeah.
What are you doing, a ventriloquist?
Wait a
act?
minute. Are you starting that again? We did that last week.
It was Wayne. You should have been here last week. Steve didn't move for about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden, you could hear him. All of a sudden, the video sped up, to catch up to where he was, and he was on super drive. You could see him going like this and rolling around. It was like fast forwarding Steve for 10 minutes to catch
Tasmanian
up.
devil. Yeah.
We were doing warp speed video last week. It was a lot of fun, but I was tired at the end, boy, I'll tell you. I'm speaking to you today from the frozen Alaskan tundra of Boston, Massachusetts, where it's about 33 degrees, and we seem to have about a foot of snow.
Wow.
So really, no matter what, there's going to be a snowstorm sooner or later. It never fails.
So Steve, I moved straight to the beach from New York 10 years ago.
That's
What
a
are
great
you waiting
idea.
for?
I wish I knew. I have no answer other than complete lack of brains. There's no reason in the world I shouldn't be living on the beach. It's just ridiculous.
Can you do a hot gubba drink?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We can make hot chocolate with coconut, which is like a Almond Joy candy bar. We can do that hot. We can do it hot, cold. We can do hot buttered rum. We can do hot rum toddies.
Yeah.
But honest to God, the truth is I drink iced coffee all day long, even when it's ridiculous weather like this. And I know you can't see out the window here, but consider yourselves fortunate.
How cold is it?
It's about 30, 32, 33.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
not
it's
bad.
snow weather.
That's freezing.
Boston snow weather.
Well, you're
it's
coming
snow
in
weather,
next
but
week, aren't you?
Saturday, you bet.
How long?
Just for a couple of days. We have a Tuesday wedding, and I have to tell you, I got a quick JetBlue story. You know, I've flown a lot, except for the last couple of years, but for 2021, JetBlue, my airline, was nice enough to extend my status as one of their Mosaic or elite passengers into from 2020 into 2021. And I only flew a couple of times last year, and it was now January 5th, and hadn't heard from JetBlue. So I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this year? Sure enough, I got a letter a couple days ago from JetBlue. We have extended your Mosaic status into 2022 because loyalty matters. I was the happiest camper on the planet. I swear to God, it was really nice of them to do it. So this is a JetBlue plug. I love them.
So Steve, I love you, Steve. Love you, love you.
Thank
This
you,
is
sir.
Kenny Love
Thank
from
you.
Florida Love. So
Kenny, I know we've met. We've passed in the hallway.
I love you, brother, my brother. So let me ask
Thank
you a question. I have two questions for you. One, how come you don't move to the beach in Florida and just sell your rum all up and down the strip where everybody would love your rum? That's number one. And number two, can you tell me all the different types of rums you have? Because I have no idea.
I'd be delighted. Thank you for asking, Kenny. Number one, nothing would be more fun than walking up and down the beach in Delray or Fort Lauderdale, hawking rum cocktails. That'd be so much fun. I would meet everybody on the beach. We would have the greatest. It would be like a party every single day. It would be great fun. We only have two types of rum, a coconut-infused rum and a vanilla-infused rum. And Dawn is putting her hand over those rums right now. You know, Dawn, Carol Merrill would just be fired in 2 seconds, and you would get the job.
And Vanna White, right? I know. We got the
Vanna
gold
White.
and the Gubba Silver.
Forget once they see Dawn, forget Vanna White. She's going to disappear into history. You are, I can't say you're the man. That doesn't work. But anyway, so Kenny, we have the two rums, and they're both wicked smooth, and they're organic, so they really are terrific.
Awesome. So let me ask you, what about getting like a Gubba rum truck? Like, you know, like how they have hot dog trucks? Have a Gubba rum truck, okay, huge Gubba rum on the side of the truck, and just run it up and down, and people just get Gubba rum drinks all over the beach.
Kenny, I love the way you think. I think it's a great idea. If we could work it out with the state of Florida to do something like that, I would do it in half a heartbeat. We can make a lot of money, number one, but number two, we'd have a great time. It would be a lot of fun to do something like that.
Well, first of all, let me act the way you told me when I told you these things. A legal counsel Your wife determines when you're moving down here. Let's make that very clear. The
That's
second
true.
thing, and the guys are laughing because they know it's true. And the second thing is you cannot put rum on a truck, because I tried that. And you cannot put rum in the beach on a truck, because I tried that too.
Why? You just need air
Because the
conditioning.
state of Florida does not allow you to distribute alcoholic beverages in that manner.
Really?
That's right. It must be done, as Mr. Gubba here will tell you, the correct way. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, you got to have somebody needs to be licensed. And I don't know the details of the laws of the state of Florida. Do you have to have an establishment that is not on wheels? I guess you do. You cannot have an establishment serving spirits and have it be on wheels. See, the whole thing, you get into that drunk driving thing, and you get all to it's really a nightmare. The laws are just crazy. Are just crazy.
Now, I have two things to tell you. The first one, as soon as this mess sort of calms down a little bit, Gubba is going to be highlighted at the movies of Delray and Lake Worth. She couldn't make it today because she's trying to fly her kids back to New York.
In a snowstorm.
I'm going to warn you right now, if it's snowing, you staying. I got to tell you, she can't get them back to New York to go to school.
Right.
And she let us know that she's sorry she couldn't make it, and she'll be here hopefully next week. But we are going to be doing a special with a movie theater theme at the movie theaters where there's going to be networking and stuff like that. Hopefully Kenny will be with us because his mom wasn't feeling well, so he couldn't be with us on the night that we did West Side Story. But I am going to be introducing the Gubba Night, networking, get your Gubba started on a weekend. It's going to be a Saturday. And there will be Gubba done the correct way. Because you have the Offer Dodger that has the license and the whole 9 yards. We're going to do it the correct way. That's the first thing. The second thing is there is a company who has come to us, probably because they saw Dawn making drinks, about safe driving, right? And this company actually picks you up and they take you home in your car, and there's a car following them, and they take that person back. So that news is starting next week. We're putting that whole thing together. You're going to see the flyers and everything else. And I want you to meet them because it's people like you that they want to back this thing. It's backed by a lot of people. Anheuser-Busch gave them a $10,000 grant, I believe, to get this project going as well. So safe driving, you don't want to drink and drive in the whole nine, but there is a message here. But this Gubba stuff, I got to tell you, nothing like this in the world exists. And people make fun of me about this until they try it. And they go, boy, you were right.
Right, you saw the drink I posted on New Year's Eve, right? We continued with the Gubba Espresso Martini.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's a good one. I like that one a lot. In fact, I'm doing a written interview for a website called therumlab.com. They were nice enough to ask me if I would do a written interview with them. So I'm trying to get through this and answer all their questions. And then when they send out their email blast at some point soon, I hope the interview that they put into the email blast will be me. Not that I have anything really interesting to say, but they were nice enough to do it. So I hope it'll be helpful. And then one of the questions is what's your favorite recipe? And my espresso chocolate martini is my favorite recipe. So that's what I'm going to spend
this weekend. What, Kenny?
Yeah.
You know, it would be a great website, rumlove.com.
We should check it out and see if anybody's got it.
Available, or gubbarumlove.com.
Oh,
You're
see
a
that now.
lover
That's
of rum and a lover, and you're spreading the love of the rum all over the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, so where do I get Gubba rum in Florida?
Well, luckily for you, I know you can always get a social cocktail at 2400 Boca Raton Boulevard North in Boca Raton, Florida. There's always a drink available there. But the closest store, which is really very close, is Boca Liquors over at 1200 Yamato Road. Where are you located, Kenny?
I'm Pompano Beach on the beach.
Well, Pompano, yeah. So I mean, that's your closest store when you're at the studio, and you
What
could
about
also go to
Monty?
Ocean. Well,
Right.
yeah. I was just going to Fort
You were
Lauderdale,
going there to
Dawn.
Fort Lauderdale.
I was going to Fort Lauderdale. Ocean's Liquors at the corner of A1A and Sunrise Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale has it. So from Pompano one way and the other way. You know, there's also a place that's actually closer to you. If you want a cocktail, there's a place called the Gatsby's Joint on East Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. Really fine bar, a lot of fun, a lot of great music, great cocktails. Real nice guy owns the place, and they have great Gubba rum cocktails.
So is there a list on your website where I can get Gubba rum down here in Florida?
Yes, there is.
There is. Great.
Probably needs to be updated, but yes, there is.
GubbaRum.com, right?
GubbaRum.com, absolutely.
GubbaRumLove.com. No, that's just adding it.
Well, that's coming. We'll work that. That'll be coming.
Well, the other thing that's coming is the Gubba Rum show is going to air. We're going to be calling Mr. Gubba on Monday.
Oh.
Oh, awesome.
And we are going to put him on the air because I think he has a great sense of humor.
He does.
I mean, when we were at the Artful Dodger here on 20th Street, and Wayne was there eating his Chip Ahoy's. What was that you had?
Fish and chips?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips, of course.
And Gubba was there, and we all hung out there with Jay Harmon. My son was there. It was hilarious. These guys, when you sit down with them, they just don't stop, especially him. Doesn't stop.
So we're putting him on radio Monday?
We can.
What are you doing to me?
Brunch.
What are you making me
We're
do?
spreading the love of the rum, of the Gubba rum.
Maybe we can have a brunch drink for Monday
Uh-huh.
on our brunch show on WNN.
And by the way, your packaging is amazing. You know, that's my background. It's gorgeous. That holographic stamp is gorgeous. So,
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. It's the tropical. I'll give you. I will do a confession. Mea culpa. Actually, it's not mea. It's them guys. Those guys up there. They didn't print the labels correctly. The tropical scene on the front label should be much more easy to see. They screwed it up, and we didn't know it until 6,000 bottles had the labels. And once 6,000 bottles had the labels, that was the label.
Well, I got to
And-
tell
and-
you, your Gubba, ever since we've known you, has been spectacular. We're going to do some more stuff for 2022 to spread, as Kenny
Spread the
calls,
love.
spread the love of Gubba. Get your Gubba on for the weekend. Vital, vital, vital to get that
Yeah.
done. And-
Especially if you're in the snow, you gotta be relaxed
Hot
when you're in the
chocolate and
snowstorm.
Gubba. I think that's going to be my weekend drink.
I think you're in for a very rough winter, my friend. I think you should start moving like the birds south.
I think it's great advice. I'm
I'll
gonna
talk to
tell-
your wife when she's down here.
I'm going to tell the fabulous Francine that my soothsayer in Boca Raton, Florida, has urged me to begin what we're going to call the Great Migration from the harsh winters of New England to the warm breezes of Florida.
Fabulous
I love it.
Francie.
As you can tell, he's been indoors for a very
Well, I'm
long
glad you're going to
time.
be in next week. Before you go, Kenny, what's on your show today on Florida Love?
So what's on my show today is Karen is on the show today, my featured guest, and we're going to be loving her son, Giovanni, today on the show. He was actually murdered at 13 years old, and we're going to be loving him and his mom, and her mom's going to be there, and we're going to be spreading the love. We're also going to be loving Tina's dad, who just passed this week. About 5 of my friends' parents and sons have passed this week, and that's why I always say life is short, that I could pass right now, we could all pass right now, so what are we waiting for? Let's all love each other. So I love you. I love you all. I mean, really, what are we waiting for? To pass? So I love you, Dawn, and I love you, Freddie, and the show is about love. We're just going to love, love, love Gio, little Gio, and Karen, and her mom, and everybody.
Well, your friends from Sensibility sent you some love, and those 2 pink bags are for
Yeah,
you.
so we're going to be lighting all the candles around today for an in-loving memory.
All right, sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
And
to set
Steve,
the
we get
mood.
to see you next week.
Hopefully.
We'll see you next
I'm
weekend.
going to see Steve on Monday because we're going to do a brunch. Think this weekend of a brunch cocktail with Gubba rum for us.
I can come. I already have something in mind.
All right, let us know.
And is
We'll
Wayne
mix
going to
that
be
up.
here Monday or Wednesday?
Whatever works for Wayne.
What works for you?
Right now, either I think.
All right. Okay,
Steve's
let's
gonna
do
be
Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
And we've
Sooner
got
than later.
Coley's Crumbs coming in on Monday also for our brunch show.
That's what
So
we're
we
doing.
can have some Gubba, some breadcrumbs. She's bringing some food.
You're going to have bread and butter?
We're going to have bread and Gubba.
You know, I love you, Steve, so much. I got to tell you, that end school zone sign you got behind you keeps bringing me
Yes.
back to elementary school and high school.
Well, the reason I have that sign there is because we like to keep a good watch on our overhead. And rather than be on the 70th floor of the John Hancock building downtown Boston, I work right out of my son's bedroom, and it's a great place. It's a very, very affordable rent with the utilities included, including internet, and plenty of free parking. So I stay here and I work, and here we are.
Wow.
How old is your
son?
Well, he's out of the house for a long time now.
He's married with children.
He'll be,
Married with
he'll-
children.
he is. He'll be 34 at the end of March.
So that's perfect.
What did I tell you?
You bet it is.
Listen,
You bet it is.
Einstein, can you do me a favor? Can we put a backdrop behind you for your show so at least it looks like a studio?
Yeah.
I have.
Like
I
Gubba
have.
Zone.
I
Gubba
will be.
Zone.
Palm tree.
Gubba Love. I don't know.
We'll have signage up in the kitchen as we make this cocktail.
Yeah, you
on
gotta
our-
put something behind you,
This
brother.
way out.
Yeah, Gubba. Drink Gubba. Gubba Gubba.
I'll have the free parking sign up. Don't worry.
Packing sign. All right, Steve,
Packing.
have a great weekend. Stay warm.
Love you, Steve. Love
Thank
you, man.
you. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you, Kenny,
as
Wayne,
well.
everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay out of the snow. Remember, it's slippery out there.
Love you. We will. Love you, Steve.
He's got to have his own show, but I'm going to do this with Steve because he has connections in Hawaii and in California where we can put that show and some of our stuff in the hotels, in the some of the big hotels in Hawaii and California on the short circuit television stats.
And we're working on bringing some Gubba rum to North Carolina, so we're working on that as well as bringing our internship to grow in North Carolina with Appalachian State. So that's some exciting news that we're working towards. I am hungry though. I need some lunch.
So this is the porn.
Dinner.
Remember porn in the 70s, 80s? The kids put this for lunchtime.
What's for on the brunch show?
What's for brunch? And to me, it sounds like Midnight Blue, which was was a sex show in New York City in the 80s, right? Same music. And he's telling me, no, it's not.
No, it's
Freddie, did you
slurping.
say born or did you say porn?
Porn.
With a P.
Yeah. Midnight Blue in New York City in the 80s. Remember that?
Absolutely.
You see, now that scares me that he remembers that. Wayne is shaking his head. He's like, I don't remember that. But it
You
was
don't
the
remember
same
that?
music. Anyway, I'm out of here.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. Wayne,
Hey,
welcome
love you
back.
all.
We've missed you. Kenny, welcome back.
Love
We've
you, Dawn.
missed
Love
you.
you, Freddie. Love you, love you.
Everyone's been on a little bit of a hiatus with holidays and Christmas and New Year and taking some time off to spend with loved ones. So you know what? Spread the love. Say you love them. And let's get back to doing what we do. As Jordana says, live your passion and your purpose. And if you need accountability, you can always call Jordana. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Tune in today, 3 o'clock, to the Florida Love Show with Kenny Love. Stay tuned. We've got a new cartoon coming out with our Brew Crew, brought to you through the eyes of Bailey. And we'll see you Monday, brunch time.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Broken Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.
In the corner
alone and sleepless nights. I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can thicken every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save her. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors. Just a ray of light, bathing me in drops of ink that gleams across my body. Wish you could unfreeze my heart and we